So you might have seen over the weekend that both Chelsea and Aston Villa have been fined by UEFA, the governing body of European football, ahead of Chelsea's Champions League campaign and Aston Villa's Europa League campaign this season as well. I got a full article here on BBC Sport to explain why that is and why they'll need to balance the books a little bit more ahead of the campaign if they're going to register all of their new players. Of course, Chelsea in particular signing a lot of players already during this transfer window. I know, that's not like them, is it? They don't make loads of signings. That's completely unheard of behaviour, especially by Chelsea. What are they doing? But they're going to have to balance the books a little bit more if they're to avoid the penalty of not having a full European squad this campaign. Why is that? Let's have a look, guys. Full article here on BBC Sport. Shout out to these guys for covering it. Both Chelsea and Aston Villa have been fined by UEFA for breaching the European governing body's financial rules. The two clubs could be prevented from registering new players for UEFA competitions for the forthcoming season unless they have a positive transfer balance by the end of the summer transfer window. For reference, that's early September, late August. They got some time to do it. Chelsea have been fined €31 million, which is just over £26 million, and could be fined a further €60 million, which is just over £50 million, if they do not comply with the rules in the next 4 years. Villa have been fined €11 million, £9.5 million, with a further €15 million, £12.9 million conditional on compliance in a 3-year period. The punishments relate to a breach of UEFA's football earnings rule and having of their income paid out to wages above 80%. Chelsea are due to compete in the Champions League this season, with Villa in the Europa League. In a statement, Chelsea said the club has worked closely and transparently with UEFA to provide a full and detailed breakdown of its financial reporting, which indicates that the financial performance of the club is on a strong upward trajectory. Chelsea FC greatly values its relationship with UEFA and considered it important to bring this matter to a swift conclusion by entering into a settlement agreement. Basically, Chelsea have said, look, we are in good financial terms, but we're going to breach your regulations. So instead of, going through like a potential expulsion from European competitions or limiting the size of their squad or something like that, they've basically paid a fine, which is really odd when you think about it. Paying a fine for spending too much money is effectively what they've done, but hey, this is football. We can talk a long time about how it's, allegedly a bit shady to say the least, but the more money you have, the more money you can spend, and Chelsea have plenty of that for sure. The punishments were issued by UEFA's financial control body, the CFCB. In a statement, the CFCB said profits from the sale of tangible or intangible assets, the exchange of players, so-called swaps, and the transfers of players between related parties cannot be included in submitted accounts. Chelsea posted a pre-tax profit of £128.4 million in June 24, a figure that included the £200 million sale of the women's team to a separate entity within the club's parent company, Blueco. Yes, you are reading that correctly. Chelsea, in order to financially, sold their women's team to themselves effectively. Don't get me started on the financial tomfoolery of the Premier League clubs. This is the absolute tip of the iceberg. I think they did the same thing with a hotel as well. The hotel at Stamford Bridge, they sold that to themselves as well effectively. Or sold it to Blueco, I should say, technically. They're obviously owned by Todd Bowley as well. But you get what I'm saying here. It's a bit like Formula 1 for you guys that follow that as well, Red Bull and Racing Bulls. Officially, they are different teams, but in reality, they are owned by the same company, Red Bull. And it even says it here as well. The club sold 2 hotels to a sister company that were used to comply with the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, PSR, which differ from UEFA's regulations last season. There have been reports Aston Villa agreed a deal to sell their women's team in order to comply with PSR as well. Wow, they're doing the same thing. Chelsea have made transfers worth £150 million on 5 players this summer, while Villa have yet to make a major sign. That number's also gone up for Chelsea since this article was written. Jamie Gittins has joined for almost £50 million, so that's about £200 million on 6 players now. Barcelona are also fined €15 million for breaching UEFA's financial rules, while Lyon was sanctioned €12.5 million. The French club agreed to be excluded from European competition if their appeal against relegation to Ligue 2 for domestic financial breaches fails. That outcome could also impact Crystal Palace, whose participation in the Europa League next season is in doubt because they may have breached multi-club ownership rules in relation to American businessman John Textor's involvement at both clubs. And I've already covered that as well. So basically, Crystal Palace are praying that Lyon stay relegated to Ligue 2, which is a farcical situation in itself. Palace should absolutely be in the Europa League next season. I have absolutely zero doubt about that. But whether they will or not, it's another matter. We'll see if Lyon do end up getting relegated, if their relegation is upheld. But yeah, so strange to say the least, guys, with stuff like that. You spent too much money, so we're going to fine you. So you're going to spend more money effectively, It's all factored in. Chelsea will have known that they're going to fall foul of these regulations before this decision even came. They would have known months ago they were going to fall foul of it. They can pay the fine, they can afford it. And people were wondering, well, what about PSR? What about domestic PSR for the Premier League? Will Chelsea be in breach of that? No, probably not. And the same for Villa as well. I mean, as it said in that article, the regulations for PSR are a lot different to FFP in Europe. We've had the likes of Manchester City, we've had the likes of Paris Saint-Germain in France. They have broke FFP on a number of different occasions in the past, and, they've just basically paid a fine. I think in Man City case, they're actually banned for a little bit, but, they ended up appealing that and get it reduced. So, yeah, Chelsea and Aston Villa will be fine. They will have factored into this. They would have known this was coming. Yeah, it's a bit dodgy, to say the least, the fact they can just pay their way out of this kind of thing. But are you really surprised, guys? Are you really shocked that the richest of the rich can just pay their way out of trouble like this? It's like life in general. It's like the justice system in general, not to go on a rant, but you'll reach a certain level of wealth and you become invincible, and that is what a lot of these Premier League clubs have reached now. They're invincible, they can't be stopped. They are on that level now. They are that rich. It doesn't really matter to them. Fine, no problem. If Man City ever do get punished for their PSR breaches in England, they'll just pay their way out of it. They'll just pay a fine or appeal it to death in the courts. Either way, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You can fine them £1 billion. Won't make a difference to them. They're owned by they're literally owned by a country. They'll be all right. But yeah, your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always. Is this punishment just? Is it fair? I don't think it is really, but what can you do? And yeah, we'll see you soon for much more content on the world of football like this. Guys, have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.